Tonight we're working on graphing using slope-intercept form. We'll notice that each one of the equations, you're given an equation in slope-intercept form, y equals 2x plus 4. And the most helpful things for us to understand are going to be the slope and the y-intercept. And since we have our equation in y equals slope-intercept form, that means that this is our slope, this is our intercept. So our slope is 2, sitting in front of the x. Our intercept is positive 4. And now we can graph. Remember in class that we talked about graphing the y-intercept because that's our b. It will also be our beginning. So we want a y of 4 right there. Now we need a slope of 2. A slope of 2 means I'm going to have an increasing line. And remember that our slope can be expressed as a fraction, 2 over 1. So I will increase by 2 units and go over 1 unit. Now from this point I could go ahead and graph using a ruler and line it up with my 2 ordered pairs and extend that line so that it comes down through the rest of my grid. Also, looking at the ruler, I can see, hey, I'm going to have some other points where my line will intersect at grid lines, but let's look at what those points are using our slope. Since our slope is positive 2, forward 1, if I want to find backwards direction, I come down 2, backwards 1, down 2, backwards 1, down 2, backwards 1, down 2, backwards 1, down 2, backwards 1. So that will be all the ordered pairs on my graph that will fall within that line. And so again, I can see now, I line up my ruler, and wow, it goes through all of those ordered pairs that I just graphed on the graph. We're not dealing in line segments, so we want arrows on both ends that indicate that that line is going on and on forever and ever. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 has the equation y equals 0.25x minus 1. So my intercept is negative 1. My slope is 0.25. Now I've told you all year that fractions are going to become your best friend because we can utilize fractions much easier than we can utilize decimals. Now 0.25 we all know is 1/4. But if I leave it in fraction form, then I'm saying that as I increase 0.25 of a unit, I'm moving to the right 1 unit. Well, that's going to be equivalent to moving up 1 unit over 4 units, which is 1/4. So we need to find our starting point. Our starting point is going to be our y-intercept, which is our b. So we're looking for our beginning, which is negative 1. And I will increase 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Now if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm off the grid, so I'm going to go ahead and stay at that point. But I'm going to go ahead and find also my negative x value by coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, backwards 1. And I can see that those 3 ordered pairs are forming a line. I'm going to go ahead and line my ruler up on them. Connect the dots, give them arrows because these are lines that are going on and on forever and ever. I want us to look at a couple of these equations on the bottom. Write each of the following equations in slope-intercept form. Well, we can see that the y equals 1/4 x plus 6 is already in slope-intercept form, so there's nothing that we need to do for that one. We can just check it. 2y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Well, in order to get that one into slope-intercept form, we're going to have to divide both sides by 2. So that's going to leave me with y all by itself. And remember that we talked about in the previous unit, when we divide an expression by 2, that means that everything on that side is getting divided by 2, so 1/2 divided by 2 would be 1/4. And 3 divided by 2 would be 1.5, or we can simply leave it as 3 over 2. So my new equation in slope-intercept form is y equals 1/4 x plus 3 over 2. And that's all we're doing for our homework, so hopefully that gave you a good indication of what you needed to do. I will work on putting together the answer key and getting that posted. Have a good night.